Good morning, everybody. So this entire class we've been putting together a project for the bike share system, and um, we have been working on the development, the implementation, kind of the system overview and the system structure and components, security, things like that. And so kind of the background of this program is this healthy lifestyle advocacy group was aiming to implement this bike share system to kind of a medium-sized metropolitan area. And this system is, creating less uh, cars on the road, makes it easier for people to just get around the town. And so basically what this system is there's bike docking stations, and people can go up to these systems, rent a bike with a credit card, and they can take this bike and they can ride all around town. And when they're done, they dock their bike back at any of the docking stations. So there's some different types of these bike sharing. Some are docking and some are dockless. In this system, we're using a docking system where you actually physically have to put your bike in a dock. Some of them are dockless, which you can just go and you leave your bike wherever you want, and you can use an app to find where a bike is that you can just go pick up. But with this one, we actually physically have to dock the bike in the docking system. So kind of background of the docking system we'll be using is they have the bikes, they run credit card payments, and they're all connected through internet networks. So the bikes, initially, you will either pay for an annual membership or a day pass, which is $5 or $70 for a year. These passes can be bought either at the docking station or online, and then the user will swipe their credit card. It's going to charge the bike or charge the card when the bike has been returned. So the charges that are accrued is based on the amount of time that the bike is being used. So if you ride for under 30 minutes, it's free. All you have to do is pay for the day pass. Or if you ride between 30 minutes and an hour, it's $1. An hour and 2 hours is $3, or a flat rate of $7 for any ride over 2 hours. And then if the bike isn't returned within 10 hours, there's a $50 fine. So basically, we're working on getting the organization and the security, and we're also trying to find what components and architecture is best for this system. So with this system, I found that the architecture and components for this would be best with a cloud-based server system. So I recommend using that. And with this information, it's all transmitted over a wireless internet. So most of the docking systems today are wireless technology to communicate between each other, and a lot of them even use solar technology to charge the station. So it's kind of a less of a footprint on our world today, so not using a lot of electricity. Then when looking at the hardware, I recommend using the bikes, the network equipment, the servers, and those are just kind of the basics of this system. The architecture, like I said, is going to be the cloud form, and there's kind of three subsets of this, and that's the rental services, the bike repair and relocation, and the data collection and processing. So when using a cloud computing system, one of the recommendations that we have to look at is the security of that system. So using this system, we have to consider, hacking and malware, denial of service attacks, data breaches, identity theft, things of that sort. So we really need to ensure that the system is being protected, especially with customer credit card information and street address and phone numbers and things like that being stored within the system. So one of the recommendations is to do an assessment of all the security risks and do a penetration assessment of the cloud infrastructure quarterly. So every 3 or 4 months, we have to do this assessment to make sure that the system is protecting against these breaches. And then any red flags that come up, we need to address those. And then we just continue to monitor the system through audits and yearly assessments. So with this system, to implement it, we kind of created some major steps and some tasks to get the system in action. So kind of the first thing we have to do is install the hardware. So the hardware includes the bike stations, the bikes, the network equipment, and the servers. And we need to appropriately locate the places where we want the bike stations. So you don't want two really close together. You don't want them too far apart. You need to kind of assess the area and position them correctly. You want them accessible to all the major population. So next we want to hire employees to manage the bike station, and that may include like a project manager, a software developer, a CIO, and hiring those people and training them on the processes and the architecture and the system in general. Next, we want to install the servers, the networks, and the data storage devices. And then we want to follow up with our security measures to assess the cloud server for potential security risks. And then we want to ensure an effective billing center is installed to keep track of our individual accounts and users. And then finally, we want to have quarterly faculty feedback to address any issues and concerns. And then that's kind of over time. We'll do that, and then we will launch our bike sharing system. So I think the system is going to be a great asset to any city and town. It takes some time to get it implemented and to make sure it's working properly, and it also takes some manpower to make sure that the security is good, the bikes are being well maintained, they're not being lost and stolen. So I think as long as you are able to keep a close eye on everything and you have people who are managing this, it will be a great asset to the community. So thank you so much, and I've had a great time in this class, and we will see you all, and thank you for commenting, and that's it. Thank you.